Good morning, everybody. We are putting things together here, just about to kick off the stream. Currently loading an asset to share. Okay, so what I'm about to do is show you the product that I'm going to be promoting in this video. And big part of being a PA, at least being a successful PA, is finding a niche to fill. And when you find your niche, find a unique way to promote it. In this case, we're coming up on Halloween, and I have a HDRI set. I don't know exactly how many will be included with the product, but it's looking like I've got 11 created here. 11 HDRIs of this particular grown over industrial area, and I, just to try to be unique, plus Halloween's coming up, decided to call the product Zombie Parking Lot. So just moving around a little bit, you can see, and this is actually kind of under a light pole, and I have a real specific shot in mind, which I will show you guys in a bit. One of the promos I've already made that's very kind of Day of the Dead sort of thing. And I decided that a unique way, I'll show you guys here in a second how I actually have previously promoted my, let's see, Quarry. I'm going to go to Daz3D.com and show you guys a product that I've recently sold here, and how I promoted it. And we will switch to desktop for a moment. Hi. So this is a product that I sold via Daz3D.com, direct sale to Daz actually. And it's a unique kind of setting with a quarry, and it actually only has I guess 4, 5 of these. Let's see how many. It probably says so in the set. No, it's actually more than that. I think it's like 12. Wait a minute. It'll say 7 HDRI maps. Okay, so I got this idea from another PA, to be fair. I think it was Orestes that uses this third-party site, Memento 360. You can set up a gallery with your 360 images, and you can sort of present that in code, and then it'll create this little gallery for you, which is really great because it's a fantastic way for them to actually see every unique HDRI in action. So I thought, you know, that's great. I should, when you see a great idea, don't be afraid to try to emulate it. So I did, and that looks great. But then I thought, how can I distinguish myself from something like this, where it just shows, you know, the stock HDRI? And then recently there was a product release called Face Mojo by Lalo that got me very excited again about animation. Now, I'm a filmmaker, very serious. What's going on here? The search is kind of messed up here, but I actually purchased this product so I can show it to you. You're supposed to show behind your scenes here, but anyway, Face Mojo. It's hiding it from me because I've already purchased it, but it's a plugin that allows you to use your phone to capture. Let's see if the search actually works this time. To capture performances using your depth camera, like on your iPhone, for example. And I don't know if it's because we're streaming, but their site seems to be responding very slowly right now. The point is, it gave me the inspiration to actually make an animation to promote my product. So instead of having like a little mouse over scenario where you just see the rotated HDRI, I thought, why not make a actual film, a short film? You know, I'm talking like 30 to 45 seconds that shows a scenario playing out with this HDRI, because what better way to show how versatile it could be, and also the fact that it's an HDRI, you're not loading these huge assets in, so you can render much faster. And now that I've had a kind of a beast machine, liquid cooled video card and all that, and I've learned a little something about like queuing out my render settings, I can actually tweak those out pretty well now and get much faster renders. And it's allowed me to create in just a few days, like roughly 53. I'd say this is going to come in about a minute long when I'm done with it. Now, this is a preview, so this is not the finished product, but just to give you an idea how I use Face Mojo, how I used my HDRI that I'm promoting to make something a little Halloween-esque. By the time this is done, this will be really dialed in. It will have sound design and music and all that. But without further ado, I just want to make sure that you guys are able to actually see it. It looks like it's showing pretty good. Hi, Reggie. By the way, Reggie's on with me today, the Reginator.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, how are you?
Oh, I'm doing quite well, thank you.
Thanks for joining. I like having Reggie because Reggie and I work together a lot as far as like, you know, working out a tutorial for somebody less experienced. I did the same thing with 6S1, although in that case I was the Reggie. I was the guy that was less experienced, obviously. So I'm doing the same sort of concept, because if I gloss over something, or if I do shortcuts or whatever, if Reggie's watching and he doesn't understand it, he'll say, "Hey, what did you do there?" And so it just helps me be a little bit more easy to follow. So that's the concept. And also Reggie is kind of like babysitting the chat for us. If anybody was to pop in and ask questions, you know, I would miss it if not for somebody telling me. But anyway, so we see the premieres here. I'm going to play this for you, and you'll get an idea of what the plan is here. Now, it's real quick, so here we go.
Oh my God, it's like so hot out here. I'd kill for a cold shower.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Satan thinks these temps are a little extreme.
Well, this little break's gone all to pot. Here they come. Get ready.
Girl, you know I was born ready. I stay strapped. I got something for him.
Brains! Brains! Zombie fucking light.
Doom, 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 doom. The title's flying. Okay, so that gives you the concept that we're going for here. And hopefully you see that there's going to be a little comedy in it. Obviously, there was no sound design and no music, but that's where I'm going. And, you know, that's my voice doing all the characters with the exception of the female, which I use Blaster Online to generate. And I will try to get somebody to voice that over. That character's British. She's using British slang. So I'll try to get somebody to voice that over if I can find somebody, but I'm not paying for it because it's got to be grassroots and it's got to be something that doesn't cost anything, because the whole point is to sell more of these HDRIs and make this product a little bit more appealing. Now, just to make sure we're seeing what I think we're seeing. Okay, we're good. This is what the product looks like. I'm going to just show you a quick run through. So what we'll do is we'll just kind of get a new camera angle here so you can sort of see. Here's our hero and our heroine. Is that the way you say that, Reggie? I don't know. Yo, what's up, mama? I mean, you gotta be able to laugh at yourself. You know, if you don't have comedy, man, you ain't got much in this
Very
world.
true.
In this world. Okay, so anyway, I just wanted to get a new little setup here so I could just show you guys the various. I'm gonna turn the NVIDIA preview on so you can see the various looks created by this. So my HDRIs in a nutshell, I'll try to offer something a little bit different. They all have they all have cameras. They all have utility tools built in. So like if I wanted to bloom it, for example, I could turn the bloom on. It's going to change the look for different kinds of effects. I like to be able to turn my intensities up and down with just a click of a button. And actually, this one, you don't see it here, but I'm going to have, I've already created it, it's just in another product. I just haven't added it to this one. But you're going to have a button like this to basically do this. Turn it to 3, 100%. And oh, actually, you have to turn this off as well. But I find that 300% overdrive and even a bright one looks pretty good lots of times. Of course, I got bloom on right here. Let me turn the bloom off. Let's go back to bloom. But see, it's all going to be driven by that. So even 3 and 400% is two things that I will do. So like if you're looking at something, like for example, if we were on her face right here, that 400%, like somewhere like that where your shadow would make a huge difference, right? I'll show you just the difference real quick. So that's with the 400%. That's 100%. Now, see, this is a tougher render. It takes longer. You'd have, if I was rendering out frames, it would take much, much longer to get that to look good. So instead of like 5 seconds or 10 seconds per render, I'd have to go with like 15 or 20 or even 30. Here's 200%. Well, see, went wrong thing there. 200. There we go. 200. 300, and then 400. 400 is about as far as I usually push it. There we go, because it starts to get too bright. But anyway, back to the then there's rotate the dome presets. I love how you can see the guy kind of reflected in her. Look at that. What do you think of that, Reggie?
That is awesome. That looks so realistic.
Yep. So anyway, she's sort of like my apocalypse survivor in this little skit that I'm doing. Shadow depth is another one that's fun to play with. Although it doesn't jump out as much at you, it's really only when you're looking at the ground. Now here's one that I really like. Now this is one I don't think you'll see anybody else offer. I haven't seen anybody else offer it, and that is simulated time. Like it's a simulated dusk. Like it takes the day map, but it actually just kind of simulates as you getting into that magic hour, and that's pretty good for like day for night. Like if you want that day for night look from film, you know, which all the Hammer films have that. I got vignetting here. Let me turn that back to the default up so you can actually see the vignetting at play. Vignetting. Looks pretty cool. Here's a little trick I'll show you, Reggie, that a lot of people don't really realize you can do. So let's say that whatever, you know, like how an HDRI looks depends on your camera and how you have things set up, right? But let's say you load one in and you're like, why is it, you know, like the okay, I'll find an example here. So like watch these poles, okay? And I'm going to show you some different settings. And I don't think you have to necessarily have presets for this, but because it's to me it's common knowledge. But like, so right now we're set on finite box, which is no spherical aberration. If we go to infinite sphere, you see it changes the perception a little bit. It's a different composition, kind of. But if we keep going through these, sphere with ground, this might not be the best example. Finite sphere. Some of them you'll see some curving. Sometimes you'll see some curving if you're too close to the edge of it. And changing these settings right here, like I still think finite box looks the best. There's times when it doesn't. or finance box with ground. You should just play with these in dome mode sometimes to see what looks best for the given shot. But anyway, let's go through these presets real quick. I do want to make sure I reset it back to whatever the basic rotation is. Some of the presets actually do throw a okay, here's an example of that. You see the lines bent right there, Reggie? So if I go in here and I experiment with what looks best, well, that one actually kind of hides the lines, but when you get to them, they're not bent. See, you see that?
Oh yeah.
You see in this case, infinite sphere works better. Finite sphere kind of messes with those a little bit. Finite box definitely messes with those. You see that? It's basically rendering it on a box instead of a sphere. But anyway, so usually one of those 6 settings will fix like an issue where it looks like the tree's bent or whatever, if the HDRI is made right, if it's not too close to something. But moving right along, let's go back to the presets and just kind of go through them. So there's one. See the grown over aspect of the parking lot. I really dig that. So this town that I live in was a textile town. This is the last remaining of this area's textile mills, and this whole area, everything you can see from here over to here, was covered. You still see the smokestack. Was covered. This whole field was covered by just a giant complex of these buildings. All gone now. So right here is an example. Easily fixed. I actually thought about including tools for changing the mode, and I think you can do that. See that finite box fixes that. You with me, Reggie? Make sense?
Oh yes, definitely.
So that is under environment and dome mode. But we'll go through the rest of these. Getting some aberration right there, and we can fix that by going to what? Dome mode. Dome mode. Infinite. Let's see if we got one. Looks like infinite's the best one for that one. And then of course it changes the composition, but yeah, it's a little wacky there. It has to do with how close they are to it. And so like that would not be the best one to feature in that particular one, but you have one that's right up underneath it. No HDRI looks perfect from every single angle, and that's a fact. And it definitely gets tricky when you have straight lines. I actually like this one. So I use this one where the zombies get shot. Like this is a good one. Yeah. So that feels like it could look better with a different mode. Infinite dreams, I can't deny them. Whoop, don't want to get copyright claimed. There we go. Anyway, moving right along. So this is like going to represent all 7 of them. So something there. Probably can do better with a different mode. So when I'm setting up these animations, you know, I'm definitely paying a lot of attention to which mode each shot before I do the animation looks in. Like on the ground looks great with finite, but the line doesn't look great, so I would just change the composition just a little bit, and there you go. Or maybe even do this. You know. Yo, what up, mama? They're fun to play with. The railroad track's probably the toughest one to work with. I had to do a lot of cloning to get it to look really right. You know, really where you would use that would be some sort of top-down shot, you know. I gotta say though, the cloning turned out pretty darn good. There's a little bit of aberration there, but yeah, it turned out pretty good. Because I wanted to be able to like have a shot where you could see the zombies down here potentially, or like the old ratty-looking tower. There's definitely angles that make that look good. That looks pretty good right there. Could reorient them too. Okay, so now you see what's what on that. And so what I'm going to do is go back to an animation that I've already kind of done. Infinite sphere with crayon. Like I can't stop playing with these. I'm just compulsively, there we go. Compulsively driven to make it look as good as it could possibly look. Finite box. There's always a way. There's always a way. All right, I'm gonna turn this off. I'll just keep playing with it the whole time. Sorry. So anyway, we're gonna close. I have found that I have so much stuff installed that sometimes it's actually faster to turn off Daz Studio without changing anything than it is to like reload, like to clear the scene, if you know what I'm saying. So that's what I'm doing here because that scene has a lot going on. And looks like we're just going to take a second to reload. Okay. I have started working with Animate 2 a lot here for this project, and I had kind of been sleeping on that, just using stock Annie blocks, and Animate 2 is the way to go because you can loop your Annie blocks, and they're very, very easy to work with once you have things in the right layout. Any questions so far, Reggie?
So far, it's doing great.
Just taking me a minute to load Daz. While I'm waiting on that, that's taking a long time to load. My one of the cool things about having your sequence in Premiere, we'll talk about this, is that you can make really kick butt thumbnails that you can fashion into a graphic if you wanted to have a thumbnail that kind of showed what was going on, you know, what was coming. Each frame essentially is like a render, you know, so get some cool looks. I'm redoing this one, by the way, Reggie, so that when the camera gets right here, and now I kind of know how to use the Annie blocks, I'll have a bunch of zombies that kind of are still walking after the camera move stops. Should be pretty cool. Let's see here. Wow, I don't know what's going on in the studio. It's really loading slow. I may have to just completely close that. I'm going to close that and try reopening it. It might just be that I'm using a lot of memory right now. Let me, since we're done with Premiere, let me switch over to the graphic here, and I'll close out Premiere, free that memory up. Hopefully we'll run a little bit faster. I've been putting this machine through it, let me tell you. So when I'm not able to sit here at the desk, I make sure I have a animation ready to go. I can talk about render settings here in a second, but you know, each render is probably taking me between an hour and a half, which is great, but still that's an hour and a half I can't be working on the computer to get a product ready, for example. Okay, let's try this again. See if, oh yeah, she's loading like normal now. It kind of stalled out before it even started building the interface, or maybe it was the logging in that was slow. I don't know, because I did see that logging in for a very, very long time. Because you got it, there it goes. You got to keep in mind that I'm actually I'm streaming with Reggie. I'm streaming to the YouTube channel as well, and that might be affecting it. Although I should have plenty of bandwidth. sometimes things are not what they seem with regards to Verizon Internet. Okay, I can actually work offline, I think, for the rest, the sake of the stream. Well, it looks like it's trying to load another version of Daz Studio right now. That ain't good. Okay, maybe that's going to do it. I tell you what, Reggie, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop this connection with you and see if that helps my stream. And if it doesn't, you can just follow on the stream. And if it doesn't, what I'll do is I'll just pause the stream and reboot and restart.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, thanks, man.
Okay.
So let's see if things improve.